Hey, how's it going, YouTubers? This is SaintInix, and we're gonna do. Honestly, I gotta get a little rant off my chest. So if you've made your way here, and expect to hear some expletives and some really emotional statements here. So the idea of this video is my what's the word I'm looking for? I'm looking for a specific word here, everyone. Disgust. Disgust, that's a good word. My disgust with the way that the gaming industry is moving these days. You know, back when I started gaming like literally knee high to a grasshopper, barely hold a controller type style. Atari, NES, SNES, Genesis, Dreamcast, and at that point I pretty much went PC. Now, I'm not going to sit here and drone on about PC Master Race, this and that, and whatnot, and what have you, okay? So I'm not going to go there. What I am going to talk to you about, though, is how consoles and mobile gaming have watered down and monetized the gaming community, the gaming culture, and everyone who loves and enjoys games. The biggest problem that I have is the idea of exclusives. Okay, this kind of came back up to the surface with this whole new Walking Dead game, No Man's Land, that released on exclusively on Apple devices, just like Fallout Shelter did a couple months ago. And I understand some of the reasons for doing so. Apple has very few devices in comparison with Android. Even though they only hold a fifth of the market share, there's very few hardware setups that you have to test your game for before releasing it on Apple. That I get that. I understand that. If there was only one type of computer, it would be so much easier to play test and to debug and to figure out hardware specifications, and things of that nature, and figure out whether the game would run on that hardware or not. I understand that. I really, really do. And it does take a little bit more time because there's thousands of different Android devices out there with different ARM processors, different amounts of RAM, screen sizes, resolution capabilities, things like that. I get that. Apple has a standardized system, and they have set hardware to work with. But the actual biggest factor of why Apple receives exclusives is the same reason that Microsoft and Sony both receive exclusives. And it's the idea of the bottom line. It's the black or red. It's the money. It's the profit involved. Okay. When you release a game, okay, when you release any kind of game, there are certain hoops you have to jump through. Copyright infringement hoops you have to register. Certain trademarks you have to handle your business legally. And because of their gargantuan size of both Sony and Microsoft, as well as Apple, it's the big three now, when it comes to both consoles and mobile, those big three throw around their weight a lot. They have teams of litigation lawyers, they have mountains of legal paperwork citing patents and trademarks and copyrights. So there is a certain... There's a certain difficulty in navigating this turbulence-filled realm of game design. I've dabbled myself. I do have a little indie project in the works, which you guys will see more of soon. But the issue is the muscle. They throw their monetary muscle around. They threaten lawsuits. They offer kickbacks for exclusives to lock games into their platform. And Microsoft is the worst at this, honestly. It really is. They nearly drove Crytek into bankruptcy. They almost obliterated Crytek over the exclusivity of Rise, which later came to PC because Crytek just literally could not survive. They needed more sales. They had to have more revenue to pay the bills and keep the doors open. That's what consoles do. That's what Apple does. Okay? Apple is just the same. Just because they don't have an Xbox or a PlayStation variant, it might only be this big, but they do the same thing, folks. They do the exact same thing. They throw around their weight, and they throw around how much money they have and how much money they can use and bribe people with to guarantee exclusives on their platforms. The problem with that is that the platforms they're creating these games for are dumbed down. They're watered down versions of anything decent. Any decent gaming PC is going to outperform that Xbox One or that PlayStation 4 you've got sitting in your living room. I promise you, for the same price you paid for it, you can build yourself a gaming computer that will handle the same games at the same frame rate or faster, most of the times faster, at better, higher resolutions, with less stuttering, with less FPS drop, a more enjoyable experience. Add to that the mods, the Steam. Steam. Okay, I don't like Steam. Honestly, I don't. I'm not a big Steam fan, but they have introduced a lot of the things that consoles had exclusively, like the multiplayer support and the ability to jump in with your friends in different games. They've introduced that to the PC atmosphere. So you don't need to have a console to play with your friends. You can jump on Steam, you can find your buddies, you can jump into the server they're in or invite them to yours. You can invite them to play a different game you've got. You can trade games. You can let people borrow your games on Steam without having to worry about them getting scratched or broken or whatever. I mean, there's so much. The sky is the limit with a computer. And what I really want to make people understand, and if there's nothing else that you take from this video, if there's nothing else that you learn from me speaking to you right now, is that all of these games, all your Xbox games, all your PlayStation games, all your mobile games, every single one of them, all of them, without exception, are designed and produced and published and built and come to life on a computer. None of your little mobile games were designed with a phone. None of your console games were designed on a console. The computer, the personal computer, the gaming rig, the developing horsepower of our gaming industry is in a computer. It has nothing to do with that crappy little 5-inch screen you carry around in your pocket, or that piece of junk you hook up to your TV in your living room for $400 fucking dollars. It's not worth $100. My computer I built for $100 fucking dollars will perform just as well as a PS4 or an Xbox One. And that's for $100. That's me getting it for less than $100. I mean, you can build one easily for $300. It'll be every bit as good. The problem with it is games like The Last of Us, Final Fantasy, the Halos or the whatnot, whatever, the exclusive titles for those consoles are just, it's a way for them to bully consumers around and make them purchase their overpriced, shitty-ass hardware, and then further spend another $50 to $60 on each title when some of those same titles, if they're not exclusive, that is, can be found on Humble Bundle, they can be found on Steam, they can be found on GOG, good old games, they can be found for 60-70% off. And what people don't realize, what people do not realize, is that because of all the developer SDK packages and the contracts and all the legal mumbo-jumbo that Sony and Microsoft put into their contracts with these developers, a developer actually makes more in their pocket, in their hand, able to be spent toward lighting and payroll and whatnot. A developer makes more money for a title on Steam discounted 60 to 70% than they do on a full price game that you paid for, that came in a little case for your Xbox or your PlayStation. They make more money directly into their hands on a hugely discounted title on Steam with no boxing, shipping, manufacturing, distribution, warehousing costs. All that stuff is cut out, okay? Microsoft's cut out. They don't get a cut. PlayStation doesn't get a fucking cut. Sony doesn't get their piece, and the developer keeps most of it. Whereas with a title that you go pick up, Titanfall for Xbox One, right? When that first came out, it was $60. I'll bet you the developer of that game made maybe $5 a copy, maybe. But if they sold Titanfall on Steam for PC at $19.99, they're making like $16. So, I mean, do the math. Do the fucking math, folks. Console games are literally choking the PC gaming world, because it is a PC gaming world. Console games are for gullible folks who are easily convinced into purchasing something expensive by media and social engineering. Basically, there is nothing, not a fucking damn thing you can do on your fucking jacked up little piece of junk in front of your TV that I can't do 10 times better with the computer sitting next to me. Not only that, but I don't void a warranty when I open it up and swap out a graphics card. I can put in a bigger hard drive. I can swap in a better fucking motherboard or a better power supply or a better CPU and put whatever game I want on it. I can play emulators for regular Nintendo and Super Nintendo and Dreamcast and PlayStation 1 and their PlayStation 2, and they're working on 360 and PS3 emulators right now. They're making progress. I mean, I can play anything I want on this computer that I built for a quarter of what you spent for your PlayStation. Not only that, but I can surf the web, I can design games, I can do spreadsheets and documents for work, for companies, for anything I want. I can make videos, I can create content. I can bring so much more to the space, to the sphere of entertainment with this thing next to me than I could with a controller and a little junky box of shit. Because that's what it is. It's a junky box of shit. The only saving grace and the only reason I will ever even touch a controller is that, thankfully, the next-gen consoles went with an AMD A-core. APU, onboard GPU, that's about the only thing I think that saves them. And it's about the only option, because it's the only processor they can put in something like that is cost effective and is allowing them to get it out the door at $400 and still make a couple of bucks. Not much, like a couple of bucks. The hardware in those PlayStations, in those Xboxes, easily costs, $350. So, well, with their proprietary junk and all their extra bullshit, but those same parts can be purchased and put into a gaming computer. Hell, you can go to freaking Walmart and buy a quad-core Acer or E-machines off the fucking shelf with shit in it. 4 gigs of RAM, a decent AMD quad with DVD burner, and that's in like a 500 gig hard drive for a couple $100, and then go on Newegg or go on eBay or go on Amazon, and you can buy yourself a graphics card that'll outperform that PlayStation 4 for $120. $120. I mean, I've seen 4K gaming pushed on graphics cards under $200. I mean, are you fucking serious that you'd rather spend $400 on a little fucking shitty ass box you can't open, you can't mod, you can't fuck with in any way, shape, or form? You can't plug in a regular webcam to it, you can't plug in a regular keyboard to it, you can't browse the internet because it's all locked down. You can't install Opera or Firefox. You can't install Fallout 1 through DOSBox. You can't install the old Settlers or Baldur's Gate or like any of the awesome games from our past that have shaped the games of the future. You can't install any of those on a fucking crap-ass PS4 or Xbox One. And if you can, it's because they reached out to some developer and had them port the game and then charge you $10 for it. When it's abandonware, you can get it for free. You can get games like that for free, or the entire compilations and collections on GOG or Humble Bundle and stuff like that for dirt cheap. And literally be directly supporting the developer. The ones who fucking sweat and bled for the game and put in 16-hour days and didn't see their fucking kids for a week because they were just it was crunch time and they had to get the game out the door, and they couldn't let their fans down, and they couldn't let their supporters down, and they couldn't let all their all their friends and their coworkers down. I mean, Microsoft, Sony, Apple, all they do is put their little fucking stamp on something, charge you twice as much for it, and keep 90%. That's it. That's all they fucking do, folks. That's all they do. They do not move the gaming industry forward. They do not contribute. They take. They take, they take, they take, they take. It's all about more, 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 more. More for them and less for you. Less features, shittier graphics. They want to lock you in and make you purchase every fucking thing they release at $60 a pop with tax. That's what it's about. It's about that scratch. It's about that bottom line. It's about that money. And that's what you get when you live in a consumerist society, in a capitalist-based society where money is everything. Nothing gets done in our world, in our planet. On our planet, nothing gets done unless there's money involved. Awesome idea. Help lots of people. I mean, save children and give the homeless homes. Yeah, but how much are we making off of it? Oh, nothing? Oh, then we can't do that then. Oh, we can never do that. I got to pay for my Ferrari and my Maserati and my $4.5 million home in Los Angeles. Gaming and the culture used to be about so much more. It used to be about the camaraderie. It used to be about the experiences. It used to be about the feeling of putting yourself in someone else's shoes and figuring out who they are, what they would do, and immersing yourself in a world unlike our own. It's not as easy these days. It really isn't. It is, but it isn't. It is so much easier because computer hardware has become so much cheaper. It's become so much easier to get your hands on good quality hardware that is capable of designing awesome, beautiful, mindfuck style games that just, blow your fucking head out your ears. But at the same time, it's become so much more difficult to get your foot in the door of an industry where money rules all. I'm designing a game myself. I mean, coming back to that, I'm gonna just kind of toss this in for you guys. I'm designing a game myself, by myself. I have no team. I have no one helping me. I have no artists, no animators, no scripters, no writers, no nothing. It is me 100%. Okay. Now, I've already spent 100 hours, easily 100 hours, 2 good work weeks on this game. And I still wouldn't feel right asking more than a couple of bucks for it, because it's just not that good. I mean, it's okay. I think it's kind of fun. It's a little gimmicky, it's a little old school and stuff like that, and I appreciate it, and I like it, and I love the nostalgia of it, and I like the concept I'm going with. But I still would not ask people for $14.99 for it. It's not worth it. It's a $4.99 game max, probably $2.99. Most likely sales for $1. Or I'll just release it for donations, because it's not all about money. That's my biggest gripe. It's not all about money, and I'm sick of the companies that make it all about money. I'm sick of the companies that care only for the bottom line, the dollar amount, and how much profit they're making, and how much their stock goes up because of it. That is not gaming. That is capitalism. That is money worshipping, soulless, blood sucking parasites who dumb down games, water down games. I mean, the consoles. You notice that every time a console comes out, the gaming kind of leaps forward. The graphics, the things you can do in the game, the ideas and the concepts of gaming leap forward. Not because consoles are moving it, not because consoles are leading it. It is because consoles are holding it back. Any one of these new games coming out for console I guarantee you there's at least one awesome feature or one really cool thing they planned on doing when they first designed it, when they first started sketching out everything, but were forced to cut because of limitations of consoles. I mean, all this awesome next gen shit, right? All the tessellation and the water effects and all the dust particles and the realistic, facial movements and all that stuff could be so much better and is so much better on a good gaming computer than on any console. Ever. Period. I don't care who the fuck you are. I don't care what the fuck you think you know. I've been tearing apart computers since I was like fucking this goddamn tall, okay? I know what's in a computer. I know what's in one of those fucking consoles. I tear them apart. I fix them. I rebuild that shit. I know what's in it. And I've seen performance. I've seen it fucking happen. Bet. If someone ever did, which they probably won't, if someone ever did, try playing Ark. Try playing Ark Survival Evolved on a fucking PlayStation. They'll never do it. They never will. It won't be done because a PlayStation cannot handle it. Literally cannot fucking handle it. That is what PCs are for. PCs are made for content creation, for gaming. The new PCs, the new generation of PCs with our fucking 980 Ti's and fucking R9 280X's and shit like that. The 4 gig, 4K, fucking 256-bit, beastly, gigantic graphics cards you need like a dolly to move into your house. Those are gaming. That's what fucking gaming is, folks. Not some fucking junk-ass fucking box sitting in front of your TV that you can't even watch YouTube videos on. Because it doesn't include HTML5 or Flash Player. And you have to pay for that. I mean, I shouldn't have to say anymore. I shouldn't have to be saying this to anyone. Anyone with 2 fucking brain cells to rub together should be able to figure this out on their own. But apparently everybody's too busy doing this number and watching American Idol or football or basketball or whatever the fuck ever season it is these days. Get your head out of your asses, throw the fucking console away, and email me, troy@inxstudios.com, and I will set you up with the loadout and spec sheet of a computer you can build for the same price that'll smash that shit. Every single time, every day, every hour, every minute, every second, from here for the next 5 years. And when that fucking PlayStation is sitting covered in dust in a shed or in a fucking tote, or you threw it in the dumpster, that PC I helped you build will still be playing games. Slap a new graphics card in it, maybe a little bit more RAM and a faster hard drive. Boom, you're running next gen. You're running newest gen. You're running after gen. You're running shit that ain't come out yet. That's all I'm going to say, folks. I just had to get this shit off my chest. I can't fucking stand this bullshit anymore. I'm tired of shit like No Man's Land, Fallout Shelter, fucking Last of Us, all these awesome gaming experiences, all these really cool games, and they're stuck. They're stuck on one little fucking thing. And I don't know about you, but I hate playing shit in a 5-inch fucking screen. That's retarded. Anyone who thought that Android or Apple exclusive was a fucking moron. You are fucking retarded. Like 40 IQ retarded. You fucking pieces of shit. Stop fucking putting all of the awesome games on one fucking platform and making every gamer who wants to experience those things have to buy 5 different fucking devices. Fuck you guys, I'm out.